Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm looking at the 2021 quarterback carousel. I was supposed to do a different video today. I was supposed to do my next video for the NFL 100, but I have a test today, or actually tomorrow. I'm making this video Tuesday night, and I just didn't have any time to prepare that video, so I'll be doing that video on Thursday or Friday. But right now I'm doing this video because this is a video I can do with slightly less time, and I can I can finish it tonight and do a pre-upload for tomorrow. So that's why the NFL 100 video will be a day or two late. So for the quarterback carousel in 2021, there have been a lot of quarterbacks that have been questionable for what team they're going to be playing on. Already, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, and Carson Wentz have been traded to different teams. And so I'm looking at some of the other quarterbacks in the NFL who are on uncertain terms right now. And it'll be interesting to see where these quarterbacks end up. And I have a couple of theories on where these quarterbacks could potentially end up for this video. So I'm going to be looking at where these quarterbacks could end up. And all of these places I think would be really interesting to see. Like, these aren't things that just could happen. These are things that I would find as interesting quarterback situations. So if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's get right into the video. So to start off this video, I just wanted to quickly go over the trades that have already transpired. So between the Rams and the Lions, the Los Angeles Rams traded Jared Goff, a first-round pick from 2021, a first-round pick from 2022, and a third-round pick from, I believe, 2022, but it might be 2023, for Matthew Stafford. I think this is a terrible trade for the Rams. They do get to free up some cap space, but you're basically trading a younger version of Matthew Stafford, 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick for Matthew Stafford. I don't think that the Rams gained anything from this, other than they sent Jared Goff's contract off someplace else because they didn't want to have to deal with his contract anymore. That being said, I don't think that the Rams are going to improve a whole lot from this trade. I don't think Matthew Stafford is a remarkably better quarterback than Jared Goff. That being said, I think Jared Goff's winning percentage has been higher because he's been on a better team. So I think that Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff's abilities are about even with each other. Their abilities at quarterback are fairly even with each other. But because Jared Goff has had that team around him, he's succeeded more. So I think that Matthew Stafford will do well in the Rams. I just don't think it was a positive trade for them. My prediction for a floor and ceiling for these two teams, I'd probably say the floor for the Rams is 7-9, and the ceiling for the Rams is 12-4. And as for the Lions, the floor for the Lions, of course, is going to be very low. It's probably 3-13 or 4-12, and the ceiling is probably close to 8-8. They could go better than that if they do well with the first-round picks that they have. They could go 9-7 or 10-6. I just don't see it. I don't think that Jared Goff is that much better than Matthew Stafford, where he can bring a 5-11 team to 10-6. But you never know. As for the other trade that's already happened, Carson Wentz went to the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts traded Carson Wentz, got Carson Wentz, and they traded off a third-round pick from this season and a conditional second-round pick for next year if Carson Wentz plays at least 75% of the Colts snaps, or if he plays 70% of the snaps and makes the playoffs. Then the Colts will get the Eagles will get a first-round pick instead of a second-round pick for 2022. It's a confusing trade, but it's a fair trade for both teams. I think that the Colts are getting a quarterback who is young, who has a lot of potential. We haven't seen a whole lot from him yet. He had that one great season. The other seasons have been mediocre or subpar, especially this past year. And I think the Colts were actually able to get Carson Wentz for a pretty decent price. They don't have a quarterback right now, considering Philip Rivers just retired. So I think it's a good trade for both teams. I think the Eagles have Jalen Hurts, and they're getting some picks to put a team around him. And the Colts already have a playoff contending team. They just need a quarterback to lead them there. I think that Carson Wentz could be that guy. He did well the 1 year the Eagles did have a complete team that he's been there. So being with a complete team on the Indianapolis Colts, it'll be interesting to see how he does. Now this starts the conspiracy theories. What players I think would look interesting in different situations? Cam Newton will be a free agent. I think that he'll be signed by the Washington football team. I think that Washington has Taylor Heineke, but I think that a really cool situation would be Cam Newton on that Washington football team offense with those two powerful running backs and that amazing defense. Washington's defense is very strong. Antonio Gibson had an amazing rookie season. Washington has some really good wide receivers such as Terry McLaurin, and I think the football team with a quarterback like Cam Newton could do really well. They went 7-9 with they went 5-1 with Alex Smith. I think that if you have a quarterback that's competent, more so than Dwayne Haskins or the guy that went from the Panthers to the football team, I think that Cam Newton could have a pretty solid season with Washington. Didn't have a great season with the Patriots, but I think that he would be a really interesting person to see on that Washington football team. The next couple of teams go together. We have the New England Patriots with Jimmy Garoppolo and the San Francisco 49ers with Kirk Cousins. So I actually saw this trade situation on a different on some website. I was looking at different ideas for trades. Apparently, San Francisco is really interested in Kirk Cousins, and although Jimmy Garoppolo has played really well for them, he went 3-3 last year, while outside of Jimmy Garoppolo, the team went 2-5. Jimmy Garoppolo has been slightly inconsistent with his stats, and he hasn't always been the most superstar quarterback. Kirk Cousins has been on a not amazing team his entire career. He's never had a phenomenal team to be on, and so he's never had an amazing chance to do well. This 49ers team that went 13-3 a couple of years ago when they were fully healthy, I think, is the team that Kirk Cousins will be able to make a pretty decent playoff run with. And if there was to be some sort of major trade where the Patriots give up a couple of picks, the 49ers get Kirk Cousins and the Patriots get Jimmy Garoppolo, I think that Jimmy Garoppolo reuniting with New England with their amazing defense and their offensive weapons that we have, or anyone we can pick up in the draft or off of free agency, I think that both the Patriots and the 49ers would be very strong teams with these two quarterbacks. The Vikings could definitely draft someone considering their draft position, and if they have extra picks, especially if they're a first-round Patriots pick, then they could have a couple of really good draft picks coming up. On the Denver Broncos, I have Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson looking for a better offensive line. The Broncos having a better offensive line than Seattle. The Broncos' offensive line isn't the best in the league, but it's not bad. And they have a really strong defense to go along with it. A lot of the teams I have on here are strong defenses that need quarterback or offensive fixes. And I think that if Russell Wilson were to go anywhere, I think Denver would be a place for him to go. Drew Lock is not a long-term solution for the Broncos by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of people thought that the Broncos with Drew Lock would have a really strong team this year, and it just didn't pan out because their offense turned the ball over too many times. Their defense is very strong. They have some really good offensive weapons, including Courtland Sutton and Melvin Gordon. Courtland Sutton being injured a lot this year, and Philip Lindsay. And so if you were to get a superstar quarterback like Russell Wilson in there, especially if he can try and get out of Seattle, then I think that would mean really good things for the Broncos' future. Moving on, we have Deshaun Watson on the Carolina Panthers. This is one of the ones that I want to see the most. I really want to see Deshaun Watson as a Carolina Panther. The Panthers started off last season, I believe, 4-3 and ended 5-11. They have a strong team. They have strong potential, and they win. They're over 500 with Christian McCaffrey, I believe, last season. If you put Deshaun Watson on a team with Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, all of those other players, that offense will be crazy. If they use their draft picks wisely on the defense, I don't know who they would be trading for Deshaun Watson. I know Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston, though, so they could get him for cheap. I think that the Panthers would have a phenomenal team with Deshaun Watson, and they would potentially have the best offense I would say right now, if Deshaun Watson goes to the Carolina Panthers will have the #1 offense in the NFL next season. I'm saying it right now. If Deshaun Watson goes to the Panthers and Chris McCaffrey stays healthy, they would have the #1 offense the whole season. And last of all, I have the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not going to take Russell Wilson away from y'all and then not give you someone else. I think that if Russell Wilson leaves Seattle, I'd like to see Taysom Hill come from the New Orleans Saints to Seattle. Taysom Hill has been a backup quarterback for the Saints for the past entire of his career, and he's almost 30 years old. He only has been in the league for a couple of years. I believe he was drafted when he was 27. And I really want to see Taysom Hill as a starting quarterback. I think that the Saints are going to want to hold on to Jameis Winston and draft someone new and have Jameis fight the new guy for the position. And I want to see Taysom Hill go somewhere else and be a superstar quarterback, because we've seen that he can throw the football. He did well with the Saints in those games that Drew Brees was injured. I think this is the most unlikely situation of all of the ones that I've mentioned, because so many different things would need to happen in order for this to happen, but considering the Saints' salary cap position, they need to get rid of players. And they can't keep as many quarterbacks on their roster at the same level that they're paying them. They'll need to get rid of someone. And I think that Jameis Winston's job is safer than Taysom Hill's, considering he had that one good catch in the playoff, that one good throw in the playoff game, and considering he did have a 33 touchdown season. I think that with Sean Payton's playbook, they can amend his picks, and he can be a really strong player for the Saints. So, assuming the Saints keep Jameis Winston and draft like a rookie to maybe fight him for the job, they're going to need to get rid of Taysom Hill to free up some cap space. And I think that if Seattle ends up doing some sort of trade with New England, because Russell Wilson wants out, I think that Taysom Hill would be an amazing replacement for him. He's still young. He's in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. I'm not really sure how old he is. He can run, he can throw, he can catch, he can do everything. And I think that if you get Taysom Hill, you draft a rookie, you see which one does better, I think Taysom Hill wins that job. And I think Taysom Hill does really well with Seattle, maybe making a possibly making a playoff run. Especially with that improving defense. So thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like below on what conspiracy theories you think will come true. Which quarterbacks do you want to see on which teams? Not which ones are likely to happen. Nobody wants to hear about what's likely. We all want to hear about what you want to see. Where do you want a quarterback to go? If the quarterback is in any way, shape, or form looking to see a different team, where do you want to see him? Comment down below. I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say. So thank you guys all for the support on the channel. I appreciate it. I am going to go study for my test tomorrow, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.